live in a time period where fan service is considered controversial within anime and manga. We even have a large chunk of the community even happy and celebrating the censorship of anime and manga and using the wordings like, we fixed the design or they fixed the design. We obviously know about collective shout and activist groups that caused Steam and itch.io to remove thousands of games, effectively hurting so much creative freedom around the world, and as we have seen, it's gotten worse with time. And despite all of that, there is one series that decided to say, screw it, we don't care about the controversy, we don't care about how there's activists within Japan trying to censor anime and manga, we don't care. You have an entire chapter for a shonen manga, yes, a shonen manga, dedicated to two characters finding love within each other. And it is legitimately just wild, especially like in a time period where we have just seen so much rampant censorship within anime and manga. And I want to talk about a few things of how I discovered this series in the first place. So, to completely keep it transparent, I became aware of this series thanks to this panel. I saw people saying, Chibi, did you see the latest chapter of Make the Exorcist Fall in Love? And I've heard about this series in the past. I was just like, okay, I've heard about it, I've seen people talk about it here and there, but it didn't seem like that relatively massive of a series, at least to me, okay? But the thing is I saw people talking about this because when I saw people discussing the fan service aspect of being censored, like within My Dress Up Darling or Dawn to Dawn, people brought this up, that this chapter that just came out this week decided to have a whole chapter of these two characters basically having love with each other. And I'm like, okay, I was a little bit shocked about it. So I sat down, I looked at it, and I'm like, okay, this is some wild stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I started reading the series because of this. Because I was just shocked to see a shonen series just being so unapologetic about it and willing to show as much as they could. And I can't show every panel and everything within this video because YouTube would not like that. But this is chapter 100 of Make the Exorcist Fall in Love. And I never read the series or was even involved with the series at all until this chapter came out. And I did some research on it and come to find out that this series has been ongoing since 2021 for a few years now, and the author and artist, this is their first work. You can actually see it right here. This is their first work and only work they've ever done, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a really good series. Like, this is legitimately a beautiful series, beautiful artwork. Like, look at this, dude. It is absolutely incredible. Now, before we go further and really start diving into some of the details of the series, I do want to say that I am not fully caught up with the series, and I know many might be a little bit upset about, you know, me being spoiled, especially on the latest content, but I'm going to say that because of the chapter and the circumstances around everything that's been happening as of late with censorship and stuff, and how there's a huge vocal part of the anime and manga community that would not like stuff like this, I think it's my obligation to sit down and read this entire series and actually potentially do weekly or bi-weekly chapter reviews. I don't know if this series releases weekly or bi-weekly. I want to be completely blunt here, but I do plan on doing videos on this series going forward, especially since you have an author and artist having the balls to actually go out of their way and do something like this in such an environment that tries to fight back against this type of content. With that being said, though, I do want to talk about the plot in general and what I know of it, okay? So, I'm going to be honest, yes, I have seen the entirety of Chapter 100. And yes, I know it's a massive spoiler for a lot of different reasons. I mean, you have a name drop for the main character. I obviously, you know, one's a demon and stuff, and, you know, he's technically a fallen exorcist at this point. And it's very, very obvious, like, when you think of the plot of the story and how the main title is called Make the Exorcist Fall in Love. It is obviously, like, this is a big moment. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, like, if this chapter is leading to the conclusion of the story. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this manga ends very soon. Now, once again, I haven't been reading the series. I don't know the complete overarching plot for all these 100 chapters, but I will say, when you have basically a title drop, you have this romantic involvement between the characters, and basically the main objective of the title is kind of achieved, then, yeah, the story is basically in its end stages. Now, like I said, could be wrong, but that's my assumption. But anyways, I went and I read the first few chapters, okay? I read chapter 1 and all that, and oh my goodness. It's crazy the whiplash of chapter 1 to chapter 100. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you have read the series, you're up to date, you know what I'm talking about. Like, seeing chapter 100 and everything that happens within that, with them finding love with each other, and then looking at chapter 1, it's insane the character development and progression, not just within the writing and story, but the art style as well. The art style is just... I love it. I love how far the artist has come from the beginning of chapter 1 to chapter 100. It is impressive. But one thing I really, really loved about chapter 1, which I want to scroll down to really show you guys, because it sticks with me. It's a great line. If you hear anything, that's rain. It's not you guys, don't worry. But I love these final pages and final panels of chapter 1. And she says, "But I have a theory. An angel falls to earth by the graveness of their sin. And the gravest sin in this world is love." And man, when I got to this panel, these pages for the first chapter, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, yo, this is actually awesome. Because looking at chapter 1 and then looking at chapter 100, which obviously I glanced over, even if I don't understand the whole journey, and there's definitely a lot I can understand about it, I need to understand, just seeing something like this is so beautiful, how the core message, at least the ending lines of chapter 1, place so much weight into chapter 100, a highlight, a big hallmarker of a, actual chapter for the series. I think it's very special, and I love that. It's something I really love about manga, and it showcases the journey and progression of the story, and I think because of my unique, take or unique entrance into this story, because obviously I haven't fully read everything, I think that right there makes it so magical to see that. And I can't wait to see the actual development of the character to reach that point, because looking at chapter 1, the MC is in such a different place in their life than where they're at in chapter 100. Like, chapter 1 is sad, depressing, this character is obviously indoctrinated, and it's just depressing, man. And I mean, he even sacrifices his own eye to take down one of the demon lords, and I'm just like, dude, he just doesn't really want to live, he has really no happiness, it's straight up depressing. And the main objective at the end, it's mentioned to him that he needs to find someone that he loves to make life worth living. And I think that is a very powerful message. And I love how it's being incorporated with, like, forbidden themes, forbidden relationships and stuff like that, because obviously he's falling in love with a demon. Chapter 100 implies that, or doesn't imply it, happens. And I think that's really freaking cool. And it also makes me wonder where the story is going to go, because the entire first chapter, it basically highlights that, if you actually do something like that with a demon, it's over. Like, the MC is never going to the pearly gates. He's never going to go into heaven, basically, within this verse, because heaven and hell obviously exists. There's demons and everything, and we see, like, holy magic and everything being used. So, he's definitely not going to have a happy ending. And I'm very curious to see where the direction the story goes, and how it develops, and what direction, like, the sacrifice he made is pretty big. Like, that's a big sacrifice, at least from my perspective of seeing how chapter 1 is, and then looking at chapter 100. So yeah, I mean, I really like this story. I can't believe I haven't read it until now. Like, I just didn't really care about it, or just, it's not that I didn't care about it, it's just, I didn't give it attention. But now seeing, like, what I've seen, and looking at the first chapter and all that, I'm like, yo, I gotta catch up. I gotta read this. And so, that is my mission, that is my objective, to read all of 100 chapters, at least before chapter 101 or 102 comes out. That is my objective. How does this series release, or when does it release? Does it release weekly or bi-weekly? If someone can confirm, please do so in the comments below. But I am very impressed that this work, by the way, is done by brand new artist and author. Like, this is their first work, by the way, and the fact that they have the balls to put content within this story that is considered controversial in this day and age, like fan service and beyond even fan service, is impressive. Honestly, shout out to them. I am definitely interested in their work now, and yeah, if you want more videos on this, if you are interested in more content talking about Make the Exorcist Fall in Love, do let me know. I definitely would love to hear it. But I guess I'll leave it at that. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment. It helps with the algorithm. Be safe, guys. Chibi out.